So a high-performing team is made up of dependable people. It's made up of people where there is structure and clarity. So I've got my roles, I've got my lane, you've got yours. And we got that structure, and we're all kind of working that structure and that clarity. The fourth trait was meaning. And so we're not just doing the thing to make money for the man. We're not just operating in a situation where we're feeding into the corporate, ecosphere, but we're actually doing things that we care about. That's meaning. And these things that we care about actually have impact. In other words, they matter. We're doing something that really matters. Our team mission, our team focus, our team goal actually has an impact. Hey, welcome back, friends. I'm so excited that you're joining us for our next episode where we're talking about creating healthy workplace culture. And this is actually our third part in this series. And as you know, in Flourishing Workplace, our vision, our goal is changing the world by changing the workplace. And so we've been breaking down 10 traits of people who create or build or help construct healthy workplace culture. And we talked about the first one being personal empowerment. In other words, I'm walking in not with a victim mindset, upset and afraid of all the things that might happen to me, but I'm going and having a dynamic impact on the environment around me. And then we talked about the second trait, which is personal awareness or personal management, which really in practice looks like emotional regulation. The third trait of the people who create a healthy workplace culture is emotional and social intelligence. And that's where we really want to talk today too. Now, when you think about emotional and social intelligence, you might be asking yourself, well, what can emotional and social intelligence do in the workplace? Well, as long as you're not working completely by yourself, emotional and social intelligence is unbelievably powerful. As a matter of fact, all the research shows that when people operate with a high level of emotional intelligence, this actually becomes a superpower that allows them to impact the workplace in unbelievably positive, productive, and ultimately profitable ways. If you want to suck on the job, then just leave your emotional intelligence and your social intelligence at home. But if you want to create a vibrant, healthy, emotionally intelligent workplace, then what you've got to do is bring that emotional intelligence with you each and every day. And it's interesting because a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, this idea that I am the decisive element. That in so many ways sums up the idea of emotional intelligence. That means that I am a contributing factor to everything that's going on around here. And why is that? Well, several years ago, actually, this was back in 2017, Google, and I'm sure you've all heard of Google, they're not just a thing on the internet, but they're actually a massive company, well over 100,000 employees. They're operating in well over 100 companies, multi-billion dollar organization. And they decided, because they have thousands and thousands of teams within their organization, which totally makes sense. So they decided to do some study on what would be the traits or the characteristics of their highest performing teams. So imagine you had 5 teams and you'd want to figure out, well, what are the highest performing teams out of the 5? And let's say you were able to identify 1 or 2 that were like really high performing compared to the rest. And then let's go a step further and try to figure out, like, what is it about those teams that sets them apart from all the rest? And what Google actually uncovered when they did this study is that there was 5 traits of their highest performing teams. That's 5. The first trait was psychological safety. The second trait was dependability. The third trait was structure and clarity. The fourth trait was meaning. And the fifth trait was impact. And so what Google discovered was that their highest performing teams were defined by 5 traits. Number 1, psychological safety. And I want to talk about that in just a moment. But before we do, I'll go into number 2. The second thing was dependability. I mean, a high-performing team is not a team where you're wondering, is he going to show up for work today? Are they dependable? Are they somebody that will get their projects done on time, according to plan, according to budget, or not? So a high-performing team is made up of dependable people. It's made up of people where there is structure and clarity. So I've got my roles, I've got my lane, you've got yours. And we got that structure, and we're all kind of working that structure and that clarity. The fourth trait was meaning. And so we're not just doing the thing to make money for the man. We're not just operating in a situation where we're feeding into the corporate, ecosphere, but we're actually doing things that we care about. That's meaning. And these things that we care about actually have impact. In other words, they matter. We're doing something that really matters. Our team mission, our team focus, our team goal actually has an impact. Now, all of those other traits, dependability, structure and clarity, meaning and impact, the Google people who researched this found all of those things, as important as they were, did not have nearly as much importance as the first thing, which was psychological safety. As a matter of fact, psychological safety, that one trait of high-performing teams, was more important than all the other traits combined. Now, you might say, what is psychological safety? Well, psychological safety is the ability to create psychologically safe environments for people around you. If a person wonders what psychological safety is, all they have to do is ask themselves the opposite. We've all been in environments where we didn't feel psychologically safe. We felt like we were under threat. We felt like somebody was about to judge us. Somebody was about to put us down. Somebody was about to throw us under the bus. That there was, I got a threat here. I always got to check behind my back. And obviously, the opposite of a psychologically threatening environment would be an environment where I can feel psychologically safe, where I can create, where I can innovate, where I can contribute, where I can, sometimes even speak my mind and have tough conversations, but it's safe to do that. Safe to speak environments are psychologically safe environments. Now, what creates a psychologically safe environment? I believe with all my heart that the trait that creates a psychologically safe environment more than anything else is emotional intelligence. Because when I'm emotionally intelligent as a leader, that allows me to have the level of security and inner confidence that I need in order to be safe to the people around me. When I have been around insecure leaders, they don't even know how to create a psychologically safe environment for me, because they don't even know how to create a psychologically safe environment for themselves. And so when you think about emotional intelligence, it's not just this thing where, okay, bro is emotionally intelligent, he's a little more sensitive than the other guy. Okay, yeah, some of that is true, but emotional intelligence is really about being aware of your own emotions, and then it's using your own emotions to understand the emotions of others and to then adapt your approach to the other person. So imagine as a leader or a teammate in a workplace, you understood your own emotions. And that alone could be revolutionary. I understand what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. And then I use my emotions, I regulate my emotions so that I can connect with the emotions of other people. And I adapt my approach to the person that I'm working with rather than forcing them to adapt to me. That, my friends, is emotional intelligence. And when you have that level of emotional intelligence, I'll tell you what, it leads to psychological safety for others. And so what are some essentials in terms of being emotionally intelligent? In other words, if you were listening to this video and you're like, okay, Abe, I get it. I want to be more emotionally intelligent as a leader. I want to create psychological safety for myself, for my team. What do I need to do? First thing you got to do, and that just give you 4, is you've got to be secure. It is difficult to overstate the impact of you just being a secure person, you being a secure human. When you're a secure human being, it is unbelievably psychologically safe for yourself and for others around you. When you're not secure, the opposite of being secure is being insecure. And literally, friends, the definition of insecure is feeling threatened. And if I'm in a position of power or control and I'm feeling threatened, I am not safe for people around me. Even if I'm not in a position of power, I will manipulate, I will hurt, I will throw under the bus, I will judge, I will gossip, I will cancel. But when I feel secure, what happens is I'm able to function, I'm able to operate. And so if you want to develop emotional intelligence, I think the first thing you got to do is just be secure. But the second thing that you got to do to develop emotional intelligence is to be present. Now, there is being present, and then there's being present. You can be physically present, lights are on, but nobody's home, and yet not be fully engaged. And so what I would say as an emotionally intelligent leader, to develop that emotional intelligence, be present. When you're in the moment with your team, be in the moment with your team. And this is a tough one, especially in today's environment where there are so many distractions, particularly our devices, our phones, our tablets, our screens. All of those things are distracting us at unprecedented rates from the thing that people need the most, which is human connection. Tell you what, I think that this is maybe one of the greatest challenges of our time. It's not that we're not connected. It's that so much of the connection is mediated between these devices that don't necessarily bring us closer together, but sometimes keep us further apart. I can read your text, but can I feel your heart? I can see your social media posts, but can I really understand what you're going through? And I think as a leader, the only way I can really do that is if I'm fully emotionally present in the moment with people. The next thing that helps us to develop that emotional intelligence is to be appreciative. Now, we talked about this and in a few episodes ago, where we acknowledged the fact that 70% of workers, 70% said, I would work harder and put out more effort if I felt like I was appreciated and recognized even more. Now, when you think about this, you think, listen, to give people recognition and appreciation, it literally costs you nothing, but it can lead to massive business outcomes. And, it's funny because appreciation is something that we teach our kids. And yet somehow when we become adults and we get mature, we're like, well, I don't need to be like that anymore. I ain't a kid. And I actually think it's the opposite. I think the reason I teach my kids appreciation is so that when they go out into the world, that they will be known as appreciative and grateful people. I give my kids their food and I don't ask them to thank me because I need it. Hey, Dad, thanks for cooking dinner tonight. It's not like, oh, I need that for my ego. It's that I need to teach you that being appreciative is an unbelievably powerful trait. It is a superpower that, especially in this entitled environment that we live in today, will differentiate you from other people. The fourth, essential for emotional intelligence is sometimes, friends, this might surprise you, but it's just to be quiet. Now, when I say be quiet, what do I mean? I think that it's not always about what you have to say. I think that it's often about what other people have to say. And I think that one of the most emotionally intelligent things you can do is just know when to speak and when to listen. And I got a hint for you. When to speak should be far less than when to listen. And so emotional intelligence, what are we talking about? We're talking about, number one, be secure. I mean, simply be secure. Just be secure. Number two, be present. Number three, be appreciative. And number four, be quiet. I'll tell you what, if you have that trait of emotional intelligence in your life and social intelligence, then you have one of the 10 traits of people who create a flourishing workplace culture. And let me assure you, my friends, this is absolutely worth building, worth creating within your life. And so at Flourishing Workplace, we believe in workplaces where everyone thrives, everyone contributes, and everyone belongs. And so what are your next steps? Well, please do go to flourishingworkplace.com. You can book a free discovery there. We will give you a detailed roadmap and we will walk with you to implement this detailed roadmap. Please do go to flourishingworkplace.com. We'll see you in our next episode.